All right, everybody. It's Monday night, and guess what time it is? It's Conversations with Chevalier time. I'm back. It's another Monday, and I got another amazing guest for y'all. Let me tell you, this is one I've been wanting to talk to for a long time. But before I go any further, I'm starting out with the V cut. Thank you for this great cigar. We're going to talk about it a little later. And of course, my theme song, Philip Doc Martin, Won't Let Go. My guest, man, is an amazing lady. She is an entrepreneur. She is a brand owner, influencer. She's just an all-around dope chick. Yep, my guest tonight, Chitown Peaches. Let me get her on in here. This song, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Pretty Wild Puppet. What's up, sis? How you doing? We back for another episode of Conversations with Chevalier. There she is. Yeah.
How you guys doing tonight? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
All
Look,
right.
I'm feeling the groove. You know, I got a little Philip Doc Martin going. I got a great stick. I got a little rabbit hole high gold in here that I just sipping on. And we ready for Conversations with Chevalier, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm out here in Rome, Georgia today. I'm out here for work. We got a little training going on. I'm smoking the Cameroon by definition.
Definition.
Man,
Yes.
and then, let me get my little drink out. Let me just show y'all what I'm drinking
We
on tonight. I'm drinking
we
just a
got to see that.
little basil dark rye.
Say, look, I just finished the last of that bottle right before we came on, and then I grabbed my rabbit
Oh,
hole. But I was just drinking the same thing an hour ago.
mm, this is going to be interesting today.
It
How's
is,
your
it
day been
is.
going?
Man, you know what? Since I talked to you, it's been a little challenging. That was just a couple hours ago, but we'll talk about that
Okay.
later. Let's raise a toast. Let's raise a toast. So, in the Chevalier life, we smoke, we sip, we sing to the music, and we savor the cuisine occasionally. And for this show, this is my first time ever toasting somebody at the beginning of the show. Hey, y'all, I got Chitown Peaches on my show. If y'all don't know who that is, we're going to find out right now. But here's to you, sis.
Here's
Thank you for
you.
joining me, accepting my
Thank you for
invitation.
having me, darling. Thank you. Mm,
All right. So,
that's good.
look, I told you when I talked to you, conversations with Chevalier is just that. It's a conversation. We sitting down, we having a conversation. You might have questions for me. I might have some questions for you. I don't know. But wherever it goes, it's authentic and it's meaningful. It's meant for people to get an understanding who we are, who you are, your
Hmm.
journey, so they can respect the things that you do just a little bit more, going forward. And so let me just start with this. I've always wanted to know. I've always wanted to know, how did you get the name Chitown Peaches? Let's talk about it.
Well, born and raised in Chicago, West Side. So there comes Chicago.
Hmm.
You know, and Peaches, that's my nickname. Sweet as a Georgia peach. So,
And you in Georgia, so
and
I
I
guess,
ended up in
and you
Georgia.
ended
Right?
up
What's the
in Georgia.
coincidence on that?
But who was Chitown Peaches before the cigar world, before Tatted Smoke and entrepreneurship? Who was Chitown Peaches back in the day on the south side of town doing her thing? Who was that girl?
Well, Chitown Peaches was a basketball player. That was my world. I wanted to be the first woman in the NBA because see, back then there was no WNBA,
Right.
so I wanted to be the first woman in the NBA. So I used to play ball with all the guys in the alleys. If you're from Chicago, we had the milk crates on the light post. That's how you know that you can really shoot good because there was no backboard. Your J had to be pure back then. So
Oh yeah, you are a baller because you talk about your J.
yes,
Your J had to be pure back then. Huh? I like that. I like that.
yes.
So was
So
yours
that
pure?
was.
Was
Hmm?
yours pure? Was you good, or you just telling us that? Was you
Oh
good?
no, no, no! I was good. I was real good. I made all nationals. I was the lead best defensive player in the nation, and I had the most steals. So no,
Wow.
I had a dope squad. So like I had some girls that could shoot like nothing. So my job was to make sure I got the ball in their hand. And
Hmm.
then of course, if they got a good rebound, I just took off because I was small and I was fast. So they lob it like a football. I catch it, throw that little layup, whoop, whoop,
Oh, you
there it
got your
is.
little alley oop game going. You didn't miss no layups. That's what you saying.
No, I
You
missed
didn't
some.
miss no
No,
layups. Huh?
no,
You
no,
missed
I
some.
missed some.
So
I
you was
did.
the
I
one
got
that had the team running laps after every game because you missed the
no,
layups.
no.
Yeah.
No, I probably have you running laps because I was yelling at you. I was cussing back at you. Like my high school coach was the varsity men's football
Oh
coach.
wow.
Okay, his name is Todd Black. Mr. Black did not play. He grabbed us like this. He yelled, spit all in our face, and I just looked at him. I was like, "My mom yelled louder than you. You know where I come from." So he didn't like it. So he would say, "Run," until I don't want you to run no more.
Wow.
That
Where did you
yeah.
go to high school? What school did you go to over there?
So I went to Oak Park River Forest High School.
Okay.
My father, I was supposed to go to school in the city, but some stuff happened. My father wanted me to be in a better neighborhood. So I went to school there. Wonderful time there, 4 years. And from there, I actually received a scholarship to play ball.
Oh
But back
wow.
then, I couldn't play ball and be pregnant. So check this out. The first time I had sex, I got pregnant.
Uh, you know, you ain't the first woman I heard to say that.
So I didn't even know I was pregnant until you go and take your physical,
Hmm.
right? And they told me I was pregnant. So back then I had a choice: have an abortion and have your scholarship, or have your baby and lose the scholarship. So I said goodbye to the scholarship and went to a junior college, College of DuPage in Glen Ellen, Illinois,
Hmm.
which was an amazing time. I had a coach that really believed in me. And when I didn't have the funds to do it, he made sure that, come and stay with me. I'm going to make sure that you are able to get your education, go to school, play ball, and be a productive woman in society because I kept being told that I wasn't going to be anything
Wow.
because I was 18 and ended up pregnant. So, you're going to be a statistic. You're going to be another chick in the projects living off of welfare. Like, and that stuff was beat in my head so much. My whole goal was to prove everybody wrong.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
it was really rough because I I'm a Leo. I have a hot head. So
So you
I
you
stayed in
every
trouble.
chance you got, you was putting it in their face.
I
Every
stayed in
chance.
trouble. I stayed in trouble all the time. So it was like it came to a point that I was like, I have to do things better. And my daughter, um, she made me do things better in life. I went
Hmm.
to school. Actually, I played ball with her until I was almost 6 months. Nobody knew I was pregnant.
Wow. Wow.
And then sooner or later, my shirt started hitting my stomach, and they were like, "You prick?" I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Get off the court."
Yeah, hey, even back then they didn't want no loss.
No. So I had to sit out my first year, and I had my daughter, and you know, my I didn't come from a whole lot of money. So my father told me, I can teach you how to make money better than I can give you money. So that's how I became a pool shark. So my father took me out there and taught me how to shoot pool. So when
Wow.
everybody else was running around after the guys and going to games, I was in the rec room in there playing for money. $20 a ball, $5 a ball. What you want to do? Oh, I was killing them. Oh,
Wow.
I paid my way through college. How about that?
Really? Really? So
Hmm.
is that when you knew you knew you had that hustle mentality? You knew you had that hustle spirit. Did you
Hmm.
know that one day, did you expect that one day you would become the entrepreneur that you are?
Never, never.
No. What was you
Crazy
thinking?
thing, I'm actually kind of shy. I know people won't think that. I know, right?
Really?
I am because you have to think about it. I grew up, I was like 100 pounds soaking wet,
Hmm.
right? Looked like a 12-year-old boy in the chest, in the butt. No chest, no butt, and just up and down, right? So
Uh-huh.
all my friends were voluptuous, you know. So I was like always the third, fourth wheel, you know. So
Uh-huh.
I just, you know, I was just like, I'm just here to play ball. All the guys love me, you know. I was one of the homeboys, you know,
Hmm.
homegirls. So I mean, that was my life. You know, I was just trying to play ball and fit in that way. I was very, very shy because people would they would look over me at that moment. I was always looked over. Um, I was not told that I was the prettiest girl or the pretty girl. You know, I was
Hmm.
extremely popular because of ball. That
Right.
was the only reason. So that kept me in the limelight. So that made a lot of girls want to be friends with me because they like, ooh, girl, where's Chevalier gonna be at tonight? What party y'all gonna be at? Nah,
They
you
was
don't
doing it
like
like
me.
that. They was trying to see who you was rolling with, huh?
Exactly. That's what they always tried to do. So I was just like, yeah, nah. So it's funny because I grew up and I didn't have that many girlfriends. I had a lot of male friends still to this day.
Hmm.
My girlfriends, I could probably count on one hand. Uh,
Right.
a lot of associates, but actual true friends,
Hmm.
very, very few. So, yeah, I've been shy, always standing in the background a little bit. I always come up because of who I am, because people knew me because you played ball or this or that. But
Right.
I mean, besides that, yeah, I talk shit to you. You know, I mean, like
Now
if
that I believe because you do that now. There's look, you talk a whole nother level of old school shit when you talking to people. And I haven't had you talk shit to me, but I've seen you talking shit. Just me standing around on the side like at PCA watching you. Sometime I've sat back and watched you at the different times I've been around you, and I've been like, yeah, I see where the Chitown come from. I was asking for everybody that probably didn't know. I actually can relate to what you said though, feeling like you didn't fit in anywhere.
hmm
I used to not feel like I fit in anywhere, but then people will say, well, Yule, they say Yule. My first name Yule, middle name Chevalier. They say Yule's always been cool. He's always been this, he's always been that. But it's
hmm
amazing, and you could probably relate clearly. All these people have these preconceived notions about you, even as kids. That person is perfect. They got it going on, and all the time inside, you feel like you don't even measure up. I
fact,
felt that way. I felt that way,
yeah,
so I can relate.
that definitely happened, and like it started back in college. It's like I started withdrawing from a lot of people. I was really out there a lot, and then I just started withdrawing some and keeping to myself. And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" But it made you feel bad when, like I said, you like the third or fourth wheel, and then people only want to talk to you because of your status.
Right.
You know, I didn't like that. I never liked that. I'm like, I need somebody that's gonna like me for who I am and not for, oh, she's the point guard. She's the star point guard. You know, only. Yeah, nah, you ain't walking in the gym with me. You ain't getting no likes because of me. You gotta have your own stuff.
You know what I think? You know what I think? You know what the problem was? Them
Mm.
Chicago dudes. Over in Gary, we used to talk about them Chicago dudes. We used to say y'all had all them light skinned dudes. With the, you know, some of them. I'm half Puerto Rican. My
Right.
mama Indian. You know how they used to talk over there. And over in Gary, over in the real hood over there where I was from, we did it a little different. We used to try to come over to Chicago,
Mhm.
but then we had to stop because one thing about them old light skinned boys, they like to shoot. They like to shoot, man. Look, they see them Indiana plates come over there on the south side. They be ready to light your car up. Or you hit 31st Street Beach, you try to catch you one, you got to catch it quick and get right on back over to the state line. You
Mhm.
can get back over there on Halstead somewhere where it's safe at.
Do you
You couldn't.
31st Beach? That was
It,
everything.
it was every.
Oh
I put a lot of
man,
time in at 31st Street Beach, boy. Let me tell you,
man,
the '80s was good to me at 31st Street Beach.
that was a good life. That was a good life back then. Then don't
It
forget you
was.
79th and Stony, so you can go right over there to White Castle.
White
Everybody,
Castle, right underneath the L platform, four ways. Funny you mentioned that because I took my wife there. I told her right here is the first time I ever met or ever ate White Castle. was right there at 79th and Stony under the L
Really?
platform. And I took her over there when we were there in February. I was like, baby, this is the first White Castle I ever ate at. She was like, what? I said, my aunt had a modeling studio right up on 79th Street.
Wow.
And we used to go there and kick it. And I spent all of my, because I was in Gary. So
Mm-hmm.
I spent all of my time, over in Chitown. I ain't never ran across no peaches up there, but I spent all my time in Chicago. I met a whole bunch of Janettas, Shakitas,
Oh,
and
Lord.
then they had different names back in my time. You had the Lulus, the Ellas, they had
Right.
grandma names up there. Nene, Sha, they had two syllable names that rhymed. They didn't have that. But like
Right.
as you move forward though, and you went through college, your single
Mm-hmm.
mom in college,
Mm-hmm.
was your daughter's father involved at all? Was he like supporting from a distance, or was y'all just both kids trying to make it?
We were actually kids trying to make
Hmm.
it. Crazy thing is that I dated him when I was 13, up until about 16. But I wasn't giving up no draws back then. So he broke up with me. He was like, "You ain't doing nothing. I'm a gone." So I was like, "I bet."
Well,
And
hell, he had already killed that. He messed that up when he put a baby in there. Like he thought he was gonna get a second chance to mess up again.
man, he when we dated then, and then we broke up,
Hmm.
and then we got together when I was 18, around that time, ended up pregnant. Okay, so I have her, and then he said we're gonna try to make this work, right? So we're two kids trying to be adults. So we had to grow up very fast
Wow,
because his mom um, went away, and then we got custody of his brother and sister. So we're 21, 22 with
wow,
a young
three
kid.
kids.
And plus, at that time, I think his sister was like 8 or 9, and his brother was 12. And we're kids trying to take care of kids. So we grew up trying to do things right. I ended up getting pregnant again with
Hmm.
my oldest son. And then I was like, yeah, I got to let go of ball because I got kids I have to raise now.
Right.
So I got about all my dreams were playing ball because my dreams was never to have any kids. Like, remember, I wanted to be the first girl in the NBA.
That's right. That's right.
So,
But life was life.
like,
Life was life.
so I ended up with my second child, and we dated and raised his brother and sister. But the problem was we were too young trying to be adults.
Yeah.
We didn't have that opportunity to be kids, young adults, living that good
Right.
20s life.
Right.
So of course things didn't work out because kids is being kids, right?
Right.
So yeah, after that, then we just we moved on and moved on with life, and uh, ended up moving to Georgia.
So you
We're gonna skip
moved to Georgia.
we're gonna talk about everything else.
Mm-mm, nah, we ain't messing with no more of that. That was enough back
Yeah.
history on you. Look, so you moved to Georgia, but before I say that, for those of y'all that are just joining me, I'm Chevalier. This is Conversations with Chevalier. I have my partner, the number one peach, Chitown Peaches, Chicago's own, Georgia's homegrown, Chitown Peaches. And we are talking about her journey. We're talking about entrepreneurship, and we're talking about Tatty Smoke. So
Yeah.
you went through life. You
Yeah.
lived the life,
Yeah.
you learned about life,
Yeah.
you raised kids,
Yeah.
you had some jobs.
Yeah.
When did you become acquainted with this?
Ooh. So about 5 years. No, about six, Jesus, 6 years ago. I was when I had my last daughter. I fell into a big depression after I
Hmm.
had postpartum, and never had it out of all these kids I have, right?
Right,
And started going seeing therapists, and I love to talk about mental health because we need to talk about that in our communities
right,
because too many of us are labeled, oh, she just bad or he just bad, and they're really not. They have a chemical imbalance that unfortunately our parents always told us, no, we're not getting the people involved in us. So We never
Right.
got any. So I kept on going and found out that I was bipolar. So bipolar 2. And they had me on all these meds. And to the point that I was like a zombie. I was not the Peaches that you know today.
Hmm.
And my brother was like, "Yeah, no, we ain't gonna do this. We gonna kind of get you off this meds a little bit." So he's really in holistic medicine. So he found all these holistic pills and stuff that I could take or whatever. And then I found a therapist that believed in that as well. And she
Okay.
gave me the pills and I started taking them. And then my brother said, "I'm going to come to town. We're going to smoke a cigar, drink some bourbon, and it's going to get you where you need to go." I was like, "Man, whatever. I ain't talking to you. Man, shut up." So we arguing back and forth. So
Uh-huh.
he came in town, sat down with me. He brought me my first cigar was a Luge. Have you ever heard of Luge? Luj?
Mm-mm.
So Luge, he passed away a couple of years ago. Great man, but his cigars is amazing. If you can find them, you can find them some places in Chicago.
Okay.
It was a full body cigar, very first cigar, full body.
All right.
So he like drank this, I mean smoked this, and then he gave me some, what's that? Buffalo Trace. That's why I hate Buffalo Trace to this day. He gave me
Sweet,
some Buffalo
sweet
Trace.
and hot. Sweet and hot. That's
Yes.
what I call it. Sweet and hot.
So he told me, he said, one drink, one cigar. You understand? So you're
Mhm.
sipping, smoking, sipping,
Sipping
smoking.
smoking.
So I was
Hmm.
like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there, I'm smoking, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm high as hell. He's like, yeah, it's gonna last about 30 minutes. Don't move, don't get up. And I went to get up and everything was like shifting. I was like, oh shoot. He was like, just stay there. So that was the first time that I felt that I was so calm. Like
Hmm.
nothing bothered me. You could say something that normally would piss me off, and I just look at you and be like, okay, I got you.
You had
Okay.
it.
So my brother's like, keep on with the meds that you're taking, have you a drink and a cigar. Then it got
Okay.
to the point I was smoking one cigar a day, two cigars a day, three cigars a day. Oh Lord. And then I met Cigar Mike.
Oh, oh man. I didn't so I had him on the show about what was about 2 months ago.
Yes.
And I ain't go into it. I didn't ask because men don't ask other men about their women. That is a G code violation. But we will ask women about their men. And so how did that come about? How did you meet Big Mike? Because Mike is an icon all his own.
Man, it's so funny. I went to the patio in Smyrna
Hmm.
and my girls was there. And Mike's over there with a bunch of his guys from GTG at that time, from Philly. And they're all over there dancing and stuff. I'm in my own world. I'm smoking in my own world. So he goes to one of my girls, Sade, and he's like, um, hey, who's your friend? Can you introduce me to her? So Sade comes back and goes to my other girlfriend, not to me, and says, hey, my boy want to talk to you. So my girl walks up to him and she's like, hey, you want to talk to me? He was like, no, uh, never said I want to talk to you.
That sound like him.
So he goes,
Very straight to the point.
yes. So
Nope.
he goes to
Nope.
Sade. He's like, you had one damn job. You fucked up. Okay. So everybody knows how low Mike talks, right?
Hmm.
So the music is blasting. He comes over and he talks to me. He's like, hey, my name is Mike. And I can hear him over all this music. How? I mean, it had to be destined, I guess. So he's talking to me. He's like, I'd like to take you out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. I never knew he was Cigar Mike until our third date.
Wow.
He was just Michael Bennett to me. I didn't know who he was in this industry, nothing.
Hmm.
So it was funny. So the more I smoke with him, now I'm up to like 6, 7 cigars a day.
The true influencer. He's a true influencer.
Yes.
He changing your whole way of being, huh?
Whole life. And it's funny because all his friends said, you need a woman that smokes cigars and drink bourbon. And he said, you know what? You're right. Now, if you ask him this question, he's like, hell no, that was the worst mistake ever. Because she wants to smoke like me. She drinks as good as me. So now my tab is double. And now I'm out of more money. I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Hey, come with it. It come with it. You got to pay to play, bro. You got to pay to play,
Exactly.
man. You got to pay to
Exactly.
play. Uh, But you guys, man, you went on to kind of one of the things that I've noticed about you guys is that he's got the cigar mic experience. He's got cigar mic in itself,
Mhm.
and then he does have this. I learned it in my conversation with him. There's cigar mic, and there is Mike Bennett.
Yep.
You know, I learned that this guy has many layers. So bringing you guys together,
He
you
said no
being the force.
full names. He said no full names.
Oh yeah,
Cigar Mike.
yeah, okay, yeah, no full names. Yeah, all right, Mike, all right. But he is
Right.
Mike, and
Right.
so, what is that like for you guys and what you do? Because hey, look, you're an entrepreneur now. You're a force as an influencer. I've seen you do so many things of late. Like you've been doing the stuff with El Septimo or El Septimo, as I say.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot with them. I've been watching your post game just explode, man. Like the things it's like this year you decide to turn on the time and you really just start saying, yeah, I'm gonna say it like I said. You said, "Fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna put Chitown peaches everywhere." What is
Yeah.
that like? Is there like competition between you guys when you do it, or is it you find yourself, constructively criticizing each other and pushing each other to be better?
It's no competition. We definitely push each other
Mhm.
always. And the number one thing, the first year that me and Mike dated, nobody knew we dated.
Wow.
They would see us, we'll walk in together, he go one way, I go the other. Right?
Hmm.
Um, reason being, I didn't appreciate it then as much as I appreciate it now.
Hmm.
Because he's like, I want you to get out here and people know you for you.
Right.
Nothing me. I never want somebody to say that you are who you are because of me. And to this day, now I appreciate it. So it's like he pushed me. He asked me what did I want to do, and I was a big force of cigar porn. Like love cigar porn, love them.
Mhm.
And I was always wearing that stuff. And Mike said, "Why don't you get your own brand?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know what I want to do." So if you know anything about Mike, he gives you information, and then it's your job to research it, do the work, and when he comes back around, you better have the information for him.
Right. Right.
So the first couple of times, it was a bunch of arguing because I was like, "Man, yeah, I'm trying," but he's like, "No, I don't like that. No, that's not good. No, did you research this?" And he's like, "Make sure whatever you do is true to who you are." So that's when funny thing when I first started with my therapy and stuff, I only had two tattoos, one right here and one on my back.
Hmm.
And each time I got to the point that I wanted to knock somebody's head off, I would go and get a tattoo. So my therapist
So
was,
you must have really wanted to beat some ass because you got
yeah, I got
tattoos
a lot.
everywhere.
Right. So
Yeah.
my therapist was like, you got to stop getting tattoos every time you get mad. But that's how my tattoo game kept coming. And I was like, let me think about it. What helps me be who I am today? My tattoos and this cigar right here.
Oh,
So I kept
right.
thinking about it. So I researched, is there anybody out here with tattoos and cigars together? Couldn't find nobody. Looked up a bunch of names. So then I was like, well, let's keep it simply simple. Tatted smoke. I'm
Mm.
tatted up, smoke. So he was like, I like that. Let's run with it. I was like, I finally did something right. Thank
But
Jesus.
then the work began, didn't it?
Then
Then the
the
work
work.
began.
Yes. So I met a gentleman by the name of Steve. He's a photographer. And he did some dope photos of me.
Hmm.
And he's like, we're going to take some cigar pictures on a black background. And they came out amazing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try to use this with my first t shirts and see how it works. And
Okay.
went to Queen City Cigar Week. And I wore my shirt. I said, let me see what people think. Everybody loved it. And from that point on, I just kept growing and growing. And whatever I do, I'm sorry, this guy's coming. I'm at the hotel. I'm sorry, this
That's
guy's
all
coming by with
right. But look, usually my neighbor's dogs are barking, but I guess I got Chi-Town peaches on, so maybe they scared. I don't know. Maybe they're scared. I don't know what the deal is. But go
Whatever.
ahead though.
Whatever. Whatever I make, I try to be authentic.
Hmm.
Um, you're never gonna see me make stuff that's not me. So all my stuff is gonna be women with tattoos on their arms or something. Um, Men that I admire that has tattoos everywhere. Um, so I wanted to. I was in Inked magazine, so I
Oh
was
wow.
I was in second runner up, and the only reason I didn't win was because I refused to be nude. I refused.
Wow.
So the
Yeah,
girl,
because all of the girls in Ink, they always do a nude shot in there somewhere.
yep, and I refused to do it. And
Hmm.
only the girl that beat me had three tattoos. Okay, didn't make no sense. And I took a nude shot, but it was a side silhouette of all my
Hmm.
tattoos on the side, so you couldn't see and everything. So once I did that, I said, we in our community, a lot of times when we have tattoos, we're labeled as gang
Right.
members, uh, drug dealers, bikers. It's always with something negative attached to it.
Right.
And I'm like, no, tattoos are beautiful. And I want people to see that we can look as elegant as I don't know what in a nice formal dress and show our tattoos and be accepted in the world. So I said, well, let me bring light to what I have, So started smoking, have a bunch of tattoos. So I'm like trying to break down a bunch of barriers. A lot of women didn't used to smoke a lot.
Right.
And
Right.
you see me out here, I'm always smoking. I started telling people about cigars, doing like different reviews and stuff on cigars, and to the point that like you mentioned Zaya with El Septimo, he loves me. um, we have a great relationship, and he's like, I love when you do your videos of my stuff, people buy it, people follow, and we're gonna work together, and that's how, I mean, that's pretty much how I've built myself from tatted smoke and just being out here as a woman in the industry that people respect, I guess, because I really have a passion about
Hmm.
what I smoke. Mike would be the first one to tell you, if you say you like a cigar, you better tell him why. And it better be more than just the name.
Yeah.
You have to tell
Yeah.
him about
I've
the
heard him
background.
say that.
Tell me the notes that you're tasting. What are you drinking with it? How does the notes change versus before you were drinking with now, you're smoking and drinking. So it's constant school with Mike. And he gives me a big ass headache. That's why I smoke and drink a lot too.
Yeah. But y'all got that yin and yang thing going on. So I gotta kind of think that in all of that, you guys complement each other. But let's switch gears a little bit. So, and I often ask this question. Even I told you it's not an interview, it's a conversation. But
Right.
what would you say as you've grown? Because you've grown really fast, especially over the last 2.5 years or so.
Yeah.
Both of
Yeah.
us kind of hit the scene right around the same time, and we both started doing things. And I fanned over you. I told you that the other day. I was so afraid, and I saw you at PCA for the second time. I was so afraid
I
to
can.
walk up to you and say, "Peaches, would you come on my show?" I told you that. I told you. I told Mike the same thing. And I met Mike at PCA in Vegas. We kicked it. Oh my God, we had a good time. And
Yeah.
but I was afraid to ask either one of you, specifically you, because the image that I saw as a layman, I'm looking at myself, you know, as a
Mhm.
layman, coming into the industry.
Right.
I saw this lady that has this what seems to be overpowering presence within the cigar culture.
Mm.
The way you do things is a lot different from a lot of ladies. I mean, there's a certain sexual overtone to it, but not so much.
Right.
It's not all the time. One day you may, like you did the promotion, you did a promotion for this show,
Yeah.
and you had the camera with the black and the tats and all of that, and you put the thing about watching the show,
Right.
but then you did another one where it was just Peaches with her hair down with a shirt, leaning like this, and smoking a cigar. You seem to change it up all the time. So
Yeah.
with that level of creativity, it takes a lot of thought, a lot of paying attention. You know, what are some of the challenges you've had in maintaining, keeping that same momentum all the time? Have you had to struggle with that sometimes? I know I have at times. What about you?
Yeah, it's a big struggle. Crazy thing, um, I'm not accepted by a lot of women, and it hurts. Just because I would love to collaborate and do things, but I'm not that typical woman. I'm not gonna be dolled up all the time. You know, I love me some J's. Give me my Jordans and a hoodie. I'm good, and some jeans.
Hmm.
So I find that a lot of people want to be associated with me, but don't really want to be my friend. So I have something to offer them, whether it's just hanging out with you. You know, they always see you online, and then here we are together. They go, oh my God, let me go over. It's always something. It's hard to find those little gems of people that just want to be around me for who I am, and it makes things lonely a lot of times. To be honest with you, I like
Yeah.
hanging with my guys, but sometimes I want to hang out with women so I can have women conversations, and I can't get that. So I get a lot of pushback a lot of times. That's why you see a lot of stuff that I do is gauged towards men because
Yeah.
they are the ones that are more accepting to me. And then I have the women that do come around and they're like, man, you're dope. I love you. I like how, you know, you have this I don't give a fuck attitude. And I'm like, thank you. Somebody
Right.
loves me for me.
Right. You know, the funny thing about that though, Peaches, I experience that a lot. And anybody that really knows me knows that I'm a laid back kind of dude. I like to have fun. I don't think I'm better than. I just started thinking I might almost look good a little bit.
Say it
You
again.
know, I started learning how to put some clothes on. And it, it is very hurtful.
Hmm.
It is very hurtful to hear things about yourself that you know ain't true, and then you can't even figure out where that shit came from. Like, you
Yeah.
know, people have these preconceived notions about you sometimes,
Yep.
and that's not what this is about. You
Nope.
know, I've always pushed this thing about Chevalier Unity. You know, it's doing those small things within the community to build the
Hmm.
culture overall. You know,
Right.
being true to your everyday, what you do and how you see yourself in the cigar world. You know,
Yep.
being true to that and finding your niche, right?
Hmm.
And then, you know, using that to contribute to make, you know, build the foundation of the cigar culture.
Yeah.
And I see you doing that. I see you doing that. And so I can only imagine what it must feel like because I know how I feel when I get people that say things to me like, yeah, you think you the man with your little show. I'd be like, man, I ain't never thought my show was big. Like again, me and you had the conversation. I was like, man, I told you, I was so scared. I was really scared to ask you. And when I walked up to you over at Barbecue and Smoke that day at PCA this year,
Yes.
I stood around for, you remember, I was just standing around
Yeah.
eating. I ate a lot of candy before I got the nerve up to say, hey, Peaches, would you think you remember how I was stuttering and shit? I
I
was
was like,
like,
no.
would you maybe cause maybe would you even think about considering possibly one
Right.
day in the
Right.
not too distant future being a guest on Conversations with Chevalier? And you were like, boy, yeah,
Right.
I've been waiting. And I was like, really?
Thank you.
You know, I really felt that way. And I waited because I was leaving like right after that. I waited to the last day that I was there, and I
You
saw you
did.
50 times. I waited to the last day that I was there. I wanted to ask you when I was at the Mayan when I first got there. I ran into Mike first, and I was like, "Man, where your wife at?" He was like, "She over there playing, cause she over there playing. She at the table over there, man. She over there." And I was like, "Okay," and I went over there. I was like, "Hey," and it's like I got over there and lost my nerve to ask. I think you know, I say all that to say this. You know, people think of us one way because they see us doing all these things, but I don't think they really realize what's behind why we do what we do. Me,
Right.
when I want to turn the noise off in my head, because I always got a lot, I come out here in my backyard and I light up a cigar and turn on some jazz, and I might just start taking some pictures based on how I feel. I
Right.
might take 300 pictures, and I might use one,
Me too.
you know. So I can relate to where you're going. What would
Hmm.
you say has been the most difficult challenge for you in your journey, though, as you've been, a part of the cigar community, whether personal or business? What would you say has been your most difficult uh, part of your journey?
Um, the most difficult, uh, getting acceptance and from my family to believe in what I'm doing. It's like I tell them all the time, I'm doing this to make money, to make our lives better. You know,
Hmm.
so I can give you things that I didn't have, or I wouldn't be able to give you if I didn't have this extra money. And it's just like, oh, mama, you just with your little cigar friends. You think that you all. And I'm like, no, I'm doing something. I'm making a statement and a stamp in this culture. So if I'm not here tomorrow, trust me, there's a lot of people that knew your mother, respected your mother,
Yeah.
loved your mother. I'm making a difference even for you.
Hmm.
So it makes it really difficult when you go home and no one in your house supports you, and the one person that does support you is constantly drilling work in you. And it's like,
You don't have
for the average person,
no time to process that shit.
none.
Yeah.
So the average person might be able to do that. With
Hmm.
me being bipolar, I can't. My endorphins is always like this. So it's like it causes a lot of unnecessary arguments just because he's trying to push me where I need to go. But
Hmm.
my brain can't take it. I'm overloaded. I have all this negative coming from family. I have negative stuff coming from people that I thought was my friend to tell me you're not my friend. You know, so I'm going through all these battles. You go through stuff with work, relationships, everything, and then you're stuck here trying to figure out how can you make it every day. How do you get your brain where it needs to go to be productive, to come out with something new? I mean, because it got to a point. I mean, you guys will never know because I'm always posting. I was so depressed when I say
I
so
can relate.
so depressed, but when people see me, there was a smile on my face. And I'm like, if you really knew me, if you stepped back for a second, you could see me crying. If you just look past that smile that I
Yeah.
was, um, but that's when you see so many people that's not genuinely in your life for the right reason. Because if
Yeah.
they were, they were able to see it. Because people would start saying, "You okay? You all right? I just want to make sure you're okay." I'm like, "I'm good." And it's like, "No, are you really?" It's like I want to check up on you, and that started making me feel good because I'm like, somebody sees it,
Right.
um, and that's where that mental health comes. You never know how your words can make somebody jump off a bridge, or your last word that you said could make somebody still be here today.
Yeah.
So you have to talk to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I think, for me, I used to get this thing about the thoughts of a classic man. Somebody once told me, somebody notable in the cigar industry told me one time, um, I really don't understand what you're trying to do. And I said,
Mm,
what do you mean? He says, I don't get it. I said, what don't you get? The cigar
mm.
track of the day is just that. It's, that's how I talk. I say it's the fucking track of the day. I mean, you either like it or you don't. I play it because it makes me feel good. I don't care if you like it or not. It doesn't
Exactly.
resonate with you. And he was a pretty notable figure. I was like, if it doesn't resonate with you, you can tune out, you know. But that's the Marine in me. But
Right.
when he hit me about the thoughts of a classic man, I had to, instead of getting an attitude, I told him, I said, man, you know, I've come to love this so much and what I feel it represents to me
Hmm.
that when I was going through some of my challenges, I started journaling, and it was my way. The thoughts of a classic man was my way of doing the things the way that I always do it. I
Right.
light up a cigar, I turn on some music, and just sit out here. Long before I was on Instagram,
Hmm.
I was lighting up a cigar, turning on some music, and sitting out here and just thinking. And in those zones that I would be in, it would give me so much pleasure. So I started getting up at 4 in the morning, right? And I would just jot down the first thing that came to my mind.
Right.
And it was a struggle for about the first 7 days. But it takes about, 7 or 8 days, maybe a week and a half to create a habit.
Yeah.
It take you 21 days to break it. It take you about 7 to start it. And I started doing that and it started coming natural.
Mm.
Peaches. I get up in the morning, bam, 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 bam. I bust something out. I ain't care how crazy it was. Throw it in my notepad, get up, brush my teeth. Then I get in the truck. I got a 50-mile ride each way to
Yeah.
work. And on my way to work, I be sitting there like this. What am I trying to say?
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so to hear somebody, notable say, I don't understand what you tried to do. I said, well, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking my experiences. I'm pairing it with a great cigar and I'm sharing, hoping that it's going to ease somebody's mind, give them something that they can relate to. Or for me, really, it's my selfish way of getting my thoughts out of my head so I can pursue the day, with a quiet mind and some
Right.
kind of way it resonated. It's just like you with the tattoos. These types of things we just fall into. When you were a
Yep.
little girl shooting ball in Chicago, never would I ever think that you would have possibly ever thought that you'd be smoking cigars and
Never.
showing your tattoos and being in Ink magazine or, you know, partnering with a guy like Mike in your life to create something for both of you guys. You never, I would think that you probably never ever thought that, you know,
Never.
and that's what
Really.
it's all
Yeah.
about. It's all about not being afraid to do something different. And I feel like that you've really accomplished that. Let me ask you this. We talk about mental health and you and I have, kind of messaged about it and it being so important to you. I know in my history, I've had some mental health challenges with, dealing with domestic violence, being not only a victim of it, but also being a perpetrator and
Right.
having to, through counseling, finally get to a point in my life where I said the only way I can truly heal is to put it out there. If people don't want to fuck with me no more, then they just won't. I ain't for everybody. I am
Right.
an acquired taste.
That's
And so
right.
for you, what was it like for you finding your space mentally, finding that peaceful place inside of you within the cigar industry? What was it like for you? Was it a struggle to like accept certain things about yourself that were new that were coming out, or did you just roll right into it like some people?
No, it was a constant struggle. It was a
Hmm.
constant pull and forth. Because people can be very cruel. And my father used to always say, a person to talk about you to your face and say it's a joke, but they telling you how they really feel. So
Yeah.
I used to have people say, "Oh, you think you everything? You think you all that because you smoked some cigar and you with Mike?" I'm like, "Well, before I came around, you did know Mike, and you could have dated him. Don't be mad now because I'm dating him. And you smoke cigars just like me. Don't be mad at me because you never thought about, let me videotape myself smoking a cigar and let's see what happens." Like, I didn't ever think that people would follow me because of that. Um, it was more of a video journal for me to see how
Hmm.
I progressed. Because I remember when I first started, I used to call my brother before I can buy any cigar. Well, what's about this? What about this? To the point that I was buying them on my own and smoking them. And my brother's like, "Oh, so you know about this now?" I'm like, "Yeah." So it's dealing with mental health. Um, I got some slack on it. At first, people were like, "Don't talk about
Hmm.
it because people are going to use it against you." And I said, "No, because me talking about my situation can help save somebody."
Right.
And last year when I went to Houston, it was three young women. None of them know each other. They came to me on separate occasions. It was like, "I thank you so much for talking about what you went through and talking and being vulnerable about bipolar," because I kept trying to figure out what was wrong with me and why my marriage is going this way, why I'm acting this way. And I went and finally talked to somebody. Come to find out, you know, I'm bipolar as well. Now since I'm taking meds, I'm doing better. And she's like,
Hmm.
"Well, if you never brought that out, if you were never vulnerable like that to put yourself out there for everybody to talk about, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So every time she sees me, she gives me a big hug and tell me
Wow.
thank you. She's
Wow.
keep doing what you're doing, regardless of if you have 10 people hating on you, you have 3 people that you done saved. So just focus on who you are saving, not about the haters. So I get messages all the time about, what do you do? What do you take? How did you get like this? I'm afraid to talk. And I'm like, don't be afraid. Because, like I said, I mean, my daughter, she's my stepdaughter, but in our community, there is no step. When I take
No,
care of
no.
your
If I feed you, you mine. Mhm.
mind. So my daughter, she had a bad episode. Everybody knew about it because I was crying online and talking about it. She tried to kill herself, you know,
Mm.
and to be there and to see her go through that, it was killing me every day. And then it
Mhm.
started messing with me mentally. So now I have to be strong for her, but now I got to be strong for myself and my kids that I have. And it was a constant struggle. And when she was in a coma, and when she finally came out that coma, when she saw me, she just started screaming and crying.
Wow.
Because, uh-oh, okay. She started crying because she said, I never expected you to be there. She said, I kind of expected my dad. Definitely didn't expect my mother because she was in that predicament because of her mother. She was like,
Wow.
I didn't know, because when me and her dad divorced, she thought I divorced her. And I told her, you mine's
Yeah.
until God called.
Yeah.
You're always mine.
Yeah.
I love you to death. You're my daughter. People have been praying for you. And she was just like, Ma, thank you so much. And she just gave me the strength to be able to talk about it more, because honestly, every day, like last week was a bad week for
Wow.
me. It was real bad. And nobody would know it. But I mean, I was to the point that I was just like, I don't see, I don't know where to go. I feel like I'm losing my purpose. And,
I can relate.
Mike was trying to talk to me.
Mhm.
And the sad thing is, the ones closest to you get hit the hardest
Right.
because,
Right.
regardless how much I hit him, he never turned his back on me. And
They're the ones that they ride the roller coaster with you. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bad roller coaster. And, one day it was real bad. And a stranger, I was sitting at the lounge and a stranger came up to me. He said, you're always smiling and laughing. You're always taking videos. You're not yourself today. Are you okay? And I lost it. And he was just like, oh my God. And he just sat there and talked to me. And I was like, thank you. Because no one could see what you saw. And you, and you just came in here to buy some cigars from me today. You know, you didn't see, I mean, you were the only person that saw it. And it made me understand that no matter how bad things are, there's people out here that love you. And
Yeah.
take one step at a time. Go back to the beginning and start working again. Take one step at a time. Take one step at a time. To the point that now, I'm able to talk to you about it because I wasn't even able to talk
Wow.
about it. I mean, nobody in my life knew what was going on with me except for Mike. And that's because he was right there with me. But there was people that's with me every single day and did
Had
not
no
know.
idea.
Absolutely no idea. Had no idea what I was going through. And I'm like, yeah, it comes to time you think that you have things under control. I had stopped taking my meds. I'm like, I'm doing good. I don't have to take it no more. And it was good for a while.
Mhm.
Um, but you get that one thing that trigger you and you're gone. And sometimes when you go, it's not as simple of you just pulling me back. Sometimes it takes you to a place that I might end up where my daughter was.
Right.
So I had to remember I have a grandbaby now I have to live for. I have my kids I have to live for. I have a man that loves me for all my quirkiness. I have actual genuine people like you that think I'm dope in real life. And like my girl Nicole that tells me all the time, you're dope in real life,
She
Peaches.
in here.
I,
She in here. She tell me the same thing. I like Nicole is like I want to say Nicole is everybody in the cigar industry's number one cheerleader. And and I don't say that to be funny.
Yeah.
There's there are people in this life,
Yeah.
and I won't go so broad as to say I'm talking about right in this community,
Yeah.
this that want to see you win
Mm-hmm.
sometimes more than people that you've known all your life.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want us to do something. I don't ever do this kind of stuff. Me and you need to raise a glass to
Yes.
your journey, first of all, because
Thank
I am inspired by you. So
thank
thanks for your inspiration.
thank
Cheers. Now I want to read a comment. Very rarely do that. I do that when I do conversations with Chevalier, but this one hit me, and it was exactly what I'm thinking. I am Dr. Morgan said. Hearing how you talk about your journey with bipolar disorder, it's clear that you're healing and growing in such a powerful way. And I
you.
think that's important to understand. I don't know Dr. Morgan, but Dr. Morgan supports conversations with Chevalier. He comes on the lounge.
Yeah.
Dr. Morgan is always commenting, and I just want to say thank you because that means a lot.
That,
I do this show not because I'm trying to get picked up by somebody. I do this show because I like to have interesting conversations with people that I admire
exactly.
within the cigar community. And
That,
I've been lucky as hell that people want to come on my show when I ask them. And I didn't realize it because if you heard earlier, Dr. Morgan, I went through hell just to ask her to even come on the show. I had put on my little 2-piece suit with my V-neck and my Gucci sneaks. I made sure I was clean, smelling good. Dude, I want to say that I might have been the best smelling dude at PCA amongst all that cigar smoke. I probably put 7 pumps of Louis Vuitton on, just trying to, like, hey, I got to walk up to these people and say, I want you to be on my show. So,
right.
Dr. Morgan, I appreciate you for chiming in. It means a lot. And I just want to say thank you for watching. But we're going to get back to our conversation. So,
Mhm.
Peaches,
Yes.
I too have had to deal with a lot. I see it. It's been different. I think as a man, it hits us a little different when we talk about uh, mental health. And this is Men's Mental Health Month. And
That,
I think one of the biggest things I struggle with is vulnerability.
yeah.
If you had to sit down, let's say, I don't think that you would have to do this with Mike because Mike is like the epitome of strength most of the time. When you talk to this dude, he is like creativity personified. After I did my interview with him, we talked for like the next 3 hours. I probably told dude, I gotta go to work in a couple minutes, man. I can't sit up on the phone with you all night. But I say that to say this. What would you tell a man as a woman? What would you tell a man that struggles with vulnerability? How would you help him to get through that, coming from your own mindset about that very thing?
Ooh.
These are kind of things I like to talk about when I smoke
Yeah.
cigars. So these are things I talk about in the show.
Number one, understand that you're not in this alone. And probably
Mm,
somebody right next to you is going through the same thing that you're going through. Unfortunately, in this cigar industry, people can use your vulnerability against you.
yeah,
So people are afraid to talk to other people. So I always tell people, find somebody that you feel comfortable with. Even it could be a stranger. Like, I have no idea who Dr. Morgan is, but let's just say if Dr. Morgan was dealing with something like that, just hearing me talk about something makes you feel comfortable. I have people that tell me, oh, their business. For I don't know why, but they feel comfortable talking to me because they know I'm not going to judge them because I put myself out there to be judged all the time.
right.
I would say definitely if you're feeling some kind of way, if you don't even feel safe with your wife or a brother or a best friend, uh, half on all of our jobs, we have EAP, Assistance Program. Go out there and get a therapist. Don't tell nobody. You know, talk to somebody because it's going to feel hard the first time, but it's going to feel a relief
Yeah,
that you never felt before because you honestly didn't think that you needed it.
yeah.
So you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable so you can get the help. In that first time of being vulnerable, you're going to cry. Trust me, you're going to cry.
Heard of that.
But you come out of that, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to have an idea of where you want to go, what you need to do. You have a purpose of what roads I want to go down to accomplish what it is that I need to get accomplished.
Hmm.
And then you start partnering with people. That's when you say, hey, you know what? We're always at this lounge on Mondays. Let's do a mental health on Mondays here. Let's get people in here so they can feel comfortable. We used to have a guys group that used to do mental health for men, and it was only men. They felt comfortable so they can talk with each other. So I always say, yeah, we know people that's in this industry just to try to be popular.
Yeah,
We know
yeah, we do.
people who really love you, okay?
Yeah, yeah, we do.
Make sure that I always say, throw something out there. I always throw bait out for people to see how they grab it. And one of my things is I always will put something out there to see if you will talk about me. So I put something out there, don't nobody know but me and what I told you. And if I hear it, I know it came from you.
Yeah,
So that's how I test who's in my circle. So you have to really find who's in your circle. And you have to love the ones that you're with. If your wife is not supportive like that, you got something else that you have to talk about.
right.
You know, you guys have to get on one page. You have to be one in that, because she's going to be the one that's going to help you get through it. You have to have strong brothers on your
Yeah,
side. If you're your cigar brothers, if you're a Mason, if you're in a frat, you have to have somebody that's there that you can cry out to. So I always say, try to find that one person and ride them until the wheels fall off. Because I tell you, my best friend, who we've been friends, who Jesus, over 20
hmm.
years. And without her, I don't know how I could have made it. She's
Wow,
seen me at my worst. She's helped me climb, and every day, if whatever I put out there, she's the main one that tells me, I'm so proud of you. I love you. You're soaring. You're doing your purpose. Like, she feeds those affirmations to me continuously. And that's why I start trying to put positive words out, because you never know what people are going through.
that's true. That's true. Do you think that the cigar community? Because I'm gonna ease into our thoughts on cigar community versus culture. And so, do
Mm.
you think that the cigar community is ready to start having those conversations? I know that Ray and I do it on the lounge. And before we get off of here, I'm gonna try to talk you into coming on the guest Thursday night, coming as a guest on the lounge with us Thursday night at 7:30, if you have time. I'd
Yep.
like for you and Mike to come on because we are talking men's mental health all week, all month. And I love to have y'all on. If y'all want to come on, you get the link and jump on and give your thoughts.
Yeah.
But and we'll talk about that a little later towards the end of the show. But do you think that the cigar community is welcoming of this type of conversation? Because let's just be real. A lot of people that have shows and the really big successful shows, they're talking about blends of blends, variations of blends. They're talking about pairings with the blends that you're enjoying and the palate and, discernment. Me, I'd rather have conversations about real shit over cigars because that's what we talk about in the lounge, right? Do you think the cigar community, the cigar culture is ready to embrace that and move forward with it?
I don't think so. And the only reason
I,
why I say I don't think so is because after years of being in this industry, it seems like it's more and more people just wanting it to be a party. And it's fun to have fun. Don't get me wrong.
hmm.
But there's a place for everything. And I have been in rooms with people that without this, I would never been in a room with them because I didn't dress a certain way.
Right.
My income does not hit their bracket. I don't have all these pedigrees, behind my name. But this brings everybody together. Everybody's on the same playing field,
And yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and you will find people that are millionaires that really, really support you and think highly of you because of what you know, because of this. That's that opening door. And I think that we need to take more time with, yeah, we're going to have fun. Yeah, we're going to talk about pairings and all that great stuff. But let's take a moment out to talk about our mental health also, because I hate to see only people want to talk about mental health when somebody in our community passes away. They take their life. They were murdered. Then everybody wants to say, "Oh my God, yeah, they were going through this. Oh yeah, they were going." But what did you do? You knew they were going through it.
Why did
Were
you
you there for
why did you step
it?
up? Why did you not
Ex-
say something to let them know that you were there?
Exactly. So we have to have those conversations, and with having those and letting it grow more and more, it allows people to start feeling comfortable with certain people for things to grow. And then you will see at a cigar week, it's not always about, oh, we're going to have a black tie or a fair this. Maybe on this Friday night before we go out and party, maybe we're going to have a conversation with some people that's in the industry, some big people, and about mental health illness and what they're going through, and what they struggle with and how this helps them, because everybody is helping them in some type of
Yeah,
way. People
yeah,
just don't admit it. But the more you talk about it, then people can be like, oh, okay. I mean, some people turn to weed, some people turn to harder drugs, some people turn into alcoholics to try to deal with what they're going through.
right.
So, I mean, I'm not going to try to tell everybody go out and smoke, smoke, smoke. First, I'm going to tell you to get help from a therapist. Then I want you to get mentally where you need to be, regardless of what medicine that they put you on, because what works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. But we have to get out here and have these hard conversations to make us feel comfortable. I went to a mental health Monday once,
Hmm.
and I was listening, talking to people, and the therapist looked over and he was like, while people were talking, he said, "Why don't you say anything?" I said, "This isn't a safe place for me." And he said,
Wow.
"What?" I said, "Just because you know everybody in here, I know everybody in here too. And I know them different than what you know. So I know that there's people in here that would take where this is supposed to be a closed door and a safe place. They will take that, they'll spin it and use something different. And that's how people, that's how I have an episode. I ain't smoked that day yet. I ain't drank yet that day. And then you hit me with something and then I'm going off the hinges. So it's just like,
It's
you have
that
to,
it's that bullshit that they throw in the game when you least expect it. Yeah, and we talk Frank on here.
yeah,
We it's that bullshit that they throw in the game when you least expect it. And what I'm learning is that we have to be strong enough to control our impulses and to not allow that to take control of us, because people are going to say things, and a lot of times it has nothing to do with, you know, any fallacy or weakness in you. It's the weakness is in them because they don't know,
that,
how to be open and how to be vulnerable. So instead of trying to hear what you're saying, they want to lash out, to stop the conversation altogether.
yeah,
That's what I call weakness. That's the very definition of weakness to me. I'm no doctor or anything. I'm just a regular guy, but I done lived enough life to know that, in
that,
order for us to move forward, we gotta deal with some self issues. We gotta be a little more vulnerable, deal with
yeah,
our issues, and find those tribes like you talked about earlier, finding those people, find your tribe and lean on them. But I'm gonna ask you this and see if you agree with it. One of the things that I did this year, I pulled back, Peaches. I pulled back. I stopped going to every lounge. I stopped being at every party. And people started saying at first, I'm acting funny. But
yeah.
I felt so much better when I started pulling back.
Hmm.
You ever experienced that?
Yeah, it allows you to clear your mind. And most importantly, allows you to see people better.
Yeah.
I told somebody that I thought was a friend. I told her, I said, this is the year of me letting people go. Never did I know that she was going to be one of the people I had to let go.
Wow.
I said, it's my time. I'm in my season for me to have people around me that want to truly see me win, and that's actually going to be here for me and not for what you think I can provide for you. Um, so it's it's hard. It's I'm telling you, this is it's like
It
I'm
is.
really because it makes you almost want to cry at
Yeah.
times, because
Yeah.
in this industry we have cigar smokers and people that smoke cigars. Huge difference.
There's a big difference. Explain it though for those in the back that don't know.
So that's why I say the cigar culture probably isn't ready for it, because we have to first identify cigar smokers and people who smoke cigars. Like, you have people that go out and, they just got a promotion. They just want to hang out with the boys, so they're smoking. You know, they're just doing it like people smoke cigars from time to time
Right.
or have a drink from time to time. But then you have people that's really in depth with this, that really love this leaf, that really want to know about how it was constructed, where it came from, you know, everything about it. And those people are the people that are open to saying, hey, I want to know more about you, because they're open to really want to learn. They're not those fly by night people that's just like, hey, yeah, I'm going to meet you at the cigar person
Right.
bar, tonight.
Right.
We're gonna smoke his Friday night, and then the next day they not smoking no more.
Right.
It's something you really have together. So you have to have you have to identify people that smoke cigars and people who are really in this life that really love this. And I think once you find that niche, then you're able to see, hey, this is my community. Let's start something small here, and then we can grow bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean,
Right
it's
on.
like the cigar weeks. For
Hmm.
perfect use mics. I mean, there's a lot of big cigar weeks. You're paying for all these VIP passes. You're promised all this great stuff. It's all these black ties and all this stuff. Everything ultimately comes down to making money, right?
Right.
Well, everyone's a VIP at Atlanta Cigar Experience. There is no VIP packages. You get your butt there early, you have a seat. But the great thing about going to his events is it's all about
That's,
this. So
that's what
you're
I'm
going to,
talking about.
like Eric Espinoza, that doesn't like to come out to a lot of stuff unless you're really paying him. You have somebody like him that's there because of how much he respects Mike. And you may never get to meet Eric unless you went to a PCA. You know,
Right. Right.
you like him, or different Caldwell. It's like people come out for his events that's truly in this industry, and you can ask those questions. Oh Jesus, you can ask these questions that
Oh,
you
don't worry
want
about
to know.
that noise in the background. Don't worry about. Look, for some reason, I've only had one siren tonight. The train ain't ran yet, and the dogs are quiet. So normally this is not how this goes. So don't worry about that. Just keep doing your thing. It's usually on my end. The drones are flying over. I live in the
Right.
country. Coyotes howling and shit. I mean, there's all kind of stuff that goes on out here. You ever watch a Conversations with Chevalier? There's usually, and my dog is usually out here, which I put him in the house, but he will be back out in a little bit. I
Right.
promise.
But yeah, I mean, we that's the one I've learned more and met more people in the industry that I could build great relationships with at like his event, because it's all about just this.
Right.
And Mike's really good at, oh, you never met this person? Oh, let me introduce you to Eric Espinoza. Eric, yo, this is Peaches. She wants to know about your cigars. And he gone. And now you're sitting here like, uh,
He did it to me.
uh,
So I know Mike hit me. He introduced me to the guy from John D. Hooker Bourbon. Like we
mm,
did the show, and then he was trying to call me when I was like trying to post the show after it went off, and so I called him back. I was like, "Dude, I just got off live with you. What you want?" And he said, "Hey man, I got this brother I want you to talk to. I need you to talk to him. I had already gave him your number." And as he's telling me that, the guy is calling me. And then I'm like,
hmm
well, let me call him back. And I call the guy back. And this is all within an hour of if he and I doing the show. The guy calls me and we talking. Next thing I know, me and this brother got all kind of stuff in common. And then I get back on with the phone with Mike and Jahar and we're having a conversation. That's how it works. That's what I like to see. That's the cigar community
definitely.
that I like to see. But like my boy Ray True Light says, and he's in the comment, my partner from the lounge and my best friend, he says all the time, but you got to be ready.
That
A lot of people don't be ready, Peaches. They don't be ready.
they don't be
They don't be
ready.
ready.
They don't be
Yeah,
ready. I learn that every day. Mike keep me on my toes. And he's like, you always gotta be ready because they're waiting to catch you so they can say, aha, you don't know. And so you always have to be ready. Always have to study. You always don't just get a cigar and just smoke it. Learn
Hmm.
about it. Don't always smoke the same thing. Expand your palate. You know, you have to do things like that. So then when people say, oh, you know, this wasn't a good cigar. Well, why wasn't it a good cigar?
To
I love to ask people that.
you, to
Yeah.
you,
Why
why
what
wasn't it a good cigar to you?
so then they were like, oh, well, because I mean it was bitter, it left this taste in my mouth. I said, well, what were you drinking? Oh, that doesn't matter. No, it does.
It matters.
So
Yes,
you're not drinking that right now. Let's go get that same cigar and let's smoke it together. You know, let's and a lot of people don't do this. People love to smell the body of a cigar. I was like, no, smell the foot. What do you
the foot.
smell?
Yeah,
Let's talk about that. Okay, let's cut it. Let's dry smoke it. Do you taste anything? Like, I never thought about doing that. Yeah, let's do that. And then, okay, now let's light it. Let's smoke it. How does it taste now? Does it taste the same way when you say you didn't like it? Well, no, it doesn't taste like that. And I'm like, well, the best way for you to taste anything, retrohale it.
that's right.
Oh, you're gonna taste never taste before. And they're
Right.
like, wow. I'm like, see, this just coming from little on me. This is stuff that I've learned down, down the way,
That's
but
why I told you I was starstruck when I. That's why I told you because I told you, man. Having a lady on here, and I've been blessed on my show to have some women that are deeply rooted in the cigar community within the culture as a whole,
mm-hmm,
and you're one of them. And I think one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this interview is because you're a black woman. I love all women. I love all people, black, white, blue, but you're a
right.
black woman that's coming on here talking about something other than the party. You're talking about what it means to truly love the community,
Right,
the culture,
right.
and you're breaking it down as to why. Learning the cigar, first of all, is like the biggest thing. So many people, like you said, there are people who smoke cigars and then they're cigar smokers. There are people that aren't afraid to try to ask questions. What does it mean to retrohale? If I
Yeah.
want to get certain notes and I'm pairing it, you're that person that says, hey, take a sip straight down the center of the
Mm,
palate, just a small sip, let it fall along the side of your tongue. Then smoke your
yep.
cigar, retrohale it, and
Yep.
see what happens. You know how to tell people how to experience the cigar, not to just smoke it. And for me, that is important within the community. That's how we keep the community growing. That's how we build a solid foundation for the new smokers coming in and they understand why they're smoking. You ain't just smoking to look cool so you can meet the
No.
next dude at the lounge. You
Right.
smoking because you understand that there's flavors and when you understand those notes and how to find them, now you understand what it means to really blend and you start to ask those questions. What's the
Yeah.
process? Who
Yeah.
did it? Most people don't know that most of the people that are in the factories that are testing these flavors and these blends and these notes are women.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna lead into this. How do you feel about the role of women within the cigar culture today?
I love it. Um, I'm glad that we have a platform and we have a voice because it gives us something that we can share with our men. Besides going out to eat or doing family functions, your tap is almost like going to watch football with your man. That's what he loves, and he can sit back and just look at you screaming at a football game. And he's like, "Man, I love that girl."
Hmm.
Just be taking a moment to find interest and love in something that matters to him. So I think women, I love the fact that, I mean, we have some women that just do it to get men,
Yeah.
to look cute. It's just about pictures. But you have a good amount of women out here that's really studying this and want to educate other women. And sometimes some women are acceptable to other women explaining stuff to them. I found some men that will not ask you anything about a cigar because he said that he doesn't want to feel stupid or it's a stupid question, but he'll feel okay to come and talk to me because I make him feel comfortable. You know, we're talking, we're laughing, we're joking, we're going back and forth, and it opens up a dialogue and it allows you to be relaxed and be yourself. And then that's why so many people are like, man, she cool as hell. When I first met, I thought she was this way, and she ain't nothing like that. Cause I'm like,
I
no,
said it.
let's sit
I
down.
said all that. I said all that.
I'm like,
Remember that? I said it all. I
yeah,
said it all.
right. So it's so funny. We were at this one lounge, and it's a trick that Mike does all the time. I learned from him, so I'm gonna give him his credit. He said, people have smoked cigars forever, but they've never really truly tasted a cigar truly, unless you do this. Take your cigar, and I want you to pull it for 3 seconds. I want you to hold it in your mouth for 3 seconds. And then I want you to blow it out slowly for 3 seconds. And if you can taste that cigar in your mouth, it's going to be totally different than that. You've been smoking that cigar all day, right? The whole
Yep.
time we've been. Let's try it right now and tell me. Let's hit it once now. We understand what the flavor is, and then let's try Mike's
Let's
philosophy of how to smoke a
do
cigar.
it. Let's do
Okay,
it. Hey, look, this is what we do on Conversations with
we
Chevalier. We
do.
do shit.
So
Come on, let's go. You ready?
okay, we're gonna hit it our regular time, our regular way, so we can see what we're used to right now.
Okay, let's go.
I want you to remember what that cigar tastes like in your mouth. What notes you think you might taste.
Okay.
So now we're gonna pull it for 3. We're gonna hold it for 3. Then we're gonna blow out for
All
3. It's
right.
not easy, but it ain't really easy.
I got it. I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's go.
You ready?
Yep.
America, listen, y'all follow us, okay?
Y'all follow us. Y'all out there. If y'all are smoking right now, y'all see the exercise. Let's
Yep,
go. You ready?
do it.
On three.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Let's go. You taste anything different?
Yep.
Mm,
I did. I
mm.
did. You want to know what it was at
What
first? At
was it?
first, I had just leather. It was leather and smoke.
Yep,
When
yep.
I when I did it the second time, I got a little bit of leather. I got a sweet kind of caramel,
Mm,
buttery kind
mm,
of caramel flavor, and a little
mm,
bit of pepper.
mm. Look at that.
And it's still there in the back of my
Mm,
palate right now. And then
mm.
let me chase it down with a little of this. Just a little sip.
So let's see. Mm.
So with this, I'm drinking the Rabbit Hole High Gold Kentucky Bourbon. So it has a lot of cinnamon to it. That makes it
Right.
explode. It makes those flavors explode when you still have those flavors in your mouth from the cigar. When you
You can
got
feel.
those notes, it makes it explode. I
Mm-hmm.
like that's a good one. If y'all haven't done that, you pull it for 3 seconds, you hold the smoke in your mouth for 3 seconds, then you slowly release it for 3 seconds, and then take note of how the flavors are different from the way you initially do it and the way you do it that way. Hey,
I
that
got
works.
that, that one.
Y'all got
Okay.
that first on Conversations with Chevalier.
Mm-hmm. That's a free one, y'all. I'm not giving y'all nothing else for free now.
No more game, man. You got look. So let me ask you this: what's next for Chitown Peaches and Tatty Smoke?
Um, the next venture that I want to do is I keep being told that I'm not accepted in the certain cigar weeks because I have T-shirts.
I got T-shirt. What's the difference? Is it because
Uh,
I'm a man and you're a woman? What's the difference?
I, I'm not for sure. It's like it's not classy or this or that. If you saw one of my videos that I made, I had a young lady in a pencil skirt and
I
a
saw that.
suit, then a guy with a blazer, whole suit with my shirt on. I'm like, this is universal. Like you can put this on. If you feel comfortable, you can rock anything with anything and be somebody. You
Right.
know, so I'm gonna venture over and do some new things where, if we go to an after 5, it's gonna be something that's gonna be tatted smoke. It's gonna be something small. maybe on your blazer that you can pin there, or on your shirt, or on a woman's dress. Something that's not going to be so big, with a name or a picture. Um, I have some other things, but I ain't gonna say it right now
You
because
can't
whenever
look. You can't tell it all because they'll be out here trying to do
man
it before you do it.
grab your stuff in a minute and say it was theirs, I'd be like, nah, player, nah, nah, yeah, yeah,
I've
that's
been
good.
there, Peaches. I've been there. I had somebody message me one time on a live after live. I had one of the Chevalier shirts with the lids on, and the guy asked me, uh, "You got that copyrighted?" And I responded right back, "Why?" Because it looked like mine. I said, "Man, I've been doing this for 4 years." I said, "As a matter of fact, I sold you about four of them back in 2021 in Austin. Do you recall that?" So whatever vision you thought you had, you probably had it while you were sitting there smoking with my shirt off.
That's
Because the
right.
shirt is me.
That's
That's me with my beard and my hat broke off to the side, which I don't even wear fedoras. I said, so that's me wearing that. So no, that's not what it is. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I know it's right. I
uh-huh.
know it's right."
Yeah, that's
But
right. Yeah.
you can't put it all out there. I tell you what though, I want to model that. When you do it, you can. I'm volunteering to be a model for Tatted Smoke.
Yes.
Even though I sell Chevalier Life, I got shirts. I focus a lot on my humidors because
Right.
that is my driving item right there. But
Right.
man, I would love to model some Tatted Smoke because I'm a fan. I'm a
Let's
big fan.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna do it. You
you
heard it
tell me
first.
what to do. You tell me what you want it to look like, and I got a little
Me
style.
too.
I make it
I,
happen.
I know you do. You got a lot of style. I told you I didn't even know how to say nothing to you when I first met you. I was like, this brother's so damn suave with his Gucci shoes on,
Oh, you saw those?
then Louis Vuitton belt, and I, little girl over here with a hoodie on. Wait a minute.
Now, man, look, I remember a time, and this is no lie. I can remember a time like me putting glasses like this on. I would never.
Yeah,
For me, wearing a brand like that, like a Gucci or Hermes or anything, some of the stuff I wear or
yeah.
carrying some of the bags I carry, I would never. I would
Mm-hmm.
never. It took me, man, I'm going to be 58 years old on July 4th. And I was probably every bit of about 54 years old before I got comfortable enough to step outside of just wearing some jeans and some Nikes and a polo shirt.
Yeah,
That is the truth. That
yeah,
is the truth.
yeah,
It started around 2021. Some guys in this group called the Classic Men reached out to me and said, "Brother, we like your style." I didn't even own a suit, Peaches. I didn't even own a suit. And these guys hit me. Ray say, "How you gonna wear tatted smoke with no tattoos?" I got two tattoos, right? I got two. Look, because I was a biker for a long time, and so I
okay,
got one right here,
all
and
right,
then I got one more right here on my forearm. That's all I got. But I'm gonna get some more. I'm trying to find my sexy man. I gotta find it first. I gotta find it. I ain't like Ray. Ray sit around the house and put tattoos all over his body, draw dogs on his arm, all kind of stuff. I ain't lying. It might sound funny, but Ray, it ain't nothing for Ray to, man, I'm about to come up there and visit you. And he walk in the house, he got a big ass piece of saran wrap with Vaseline all over it or whatever you be putting on it. And he talk about my little ass tattoos. Ray, my next tattoo, I'll let you do it when you come back up. So you'll be up here in a few weeks, I think. When you come to the house, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. But back to it. I would love to model some tatted smoke
that,
because I love it, man. I love you got a picture with the guys with the bald head all muscular. You know this, I am not muscular like that. I'll rock it. I'll rock it.
hey Ray, I'm gonna come and get a tattoo from you. If you that dope, I'm
He
gonna
that
come to
dope.
you and
He really that dope. Nah,
see what
he's
you
that
can.
dope.
Yeah, definitely. Because I love. I need to get some more. I want some more on my leg. Mike keep telling me I need to stop, but I'm not gonna stop. I need to get some on my legs. I want something dope. I want to get my brand, my logo, Tatted Smoke. I want that, but I need somebody that can freak it out really
That's
good. So if you think you
Raymond.
can do that,
That's Raymond could do it. Raymond could
oh,
do it. He just The only thing, Peaches, you gotta like have a fan on him because he sweat a lot because he's so damn big. He come over here, he be in the backyard and the patio be cool because he be sitting in the chair where I'm sitting now, and he just be blocking the sun up under the thing over here. He's a big dude. He's a big dude. He's really good. He says he's okay. I say that jokingly, but he really is good. I think we ought to make it a thing. We all need to meet down at Ray's house in Houston
Yeah.
and have a smoking and shit. Better yet,
Oh.
y'all come to my house. We get in the backyard and we're gonna have a smoke and tattoo session right
Ooh.
here in my backyard.
Yes.
I have my wife to make the brambles because we got a drink here that you don't know about, but we have a drink that
Mm.
my wife makes here at the house. Many big dogs have fallen victim to the bramble in my backyard, including Ray, including his wife, Markeisha Watson, Edwina Brown, Blow Smoke has been a victim of the bramble in my backyard, and there's a host of others that have been. I don't let a lot of people come to my
Right.
house, but I would love to have y'all here to come over and do that. We need to make that happen. We need to
Let's
make
make
it
that happen
happen. Have
right
a
here.
tattoo and cigar smoke session
That's
right
right.
here in the backyard. I'm
Definitely.
completely down.
We got to do it because I mean, you just spoke that into the universe, and we're gonna make that
Yeah,
happen.
let's put it out there. Get Cigar Mike to come through here. Now I live around a bunch of old white folks, but I don't care nothing about disturbing them. Look, I pay my mortgage. Hey, if they don't like it, well, they ain't got no choice.
They don't got no other
They ain't got
choice.
no
Don't get,
choice. This is the country. You can do stuff like out here, like that out here in the country.
you
But that man, look. Oh,
being
go ahead.
in this industry. I just want to give some flowers to some people who really supported me from the beginning when I was just learning about cigars and reading on, and then smoking it and making sure I was able to taste the notes. Loyal to Ash, I'm an ambassador for them. Uh,
I met that
Steve,
brother at PCA. Amazing brother. Amazing
man,
brother.
Steve, I love Steve. Oh my God, I love all of them. But I'm telling you, when I used to smoke cigars and they used to watch me, and he came out of nowhere. I mean, trust me, there was a lot of women out here smoking cigars. I was
Mhm.
brand new, and he was like, "I like your style, and I like what you do, and how about you come on board and help me sell some of these cigars and talk to people about it?" And next thing you know, it just like we were selling cigars through the subscription. I mean, it was amazing.
Wow.
And I was able to meet some great people in different states that I would never have been able to meet them before. So it's people like that. And it's people like Zaya, for instance, that, me and Mike was just at fellowship one day, just smoking cigars on our own. And he gave me a Queen Sheba. And he was like, smoke this for me, and he's watching me. So I felt really nervous, right? Because I got this, I got
Hey,
Zaire.
because
I got
that Zaya's a whole vibe, man. Anytime a brother look at you and tell you he got a $242 million super yacht, look, I know the dude.
man,
Look, hey, that
it,
dude is a whole experience,
it's a
brother.
whole experience.
It's a
So
whole
I'm sitting,
experience to talk to him.
yes. So I cut the cigar and I did a straight cut. He said, "Oh, I like that." So I'm like laughing. I'm like, "Oh God." I toast the cigar and then I start pulling. He's like, "Oh, I like that." And then I smoked some. And I was like, "Hmm." He was like, "What do you taste?" So we started talking about it. He said, "Why did you do a straight cut?" I said, "Well, for me, I like a straight cut because I get all the smoke at once. Everything comes evenly. I'm able to taste everything." He said, "Exactly. That's why you should do a straight cut." I was like, "Whew, I passed with one for a minute."
You know what? When you talk to him, it doesn't seem like he's as proficient as you would think he is. He seems like a very rich guy that decided I wanted to start cigars
Yeah,
and then I got the money to do it so I can do whatever I want. But he is really
yeah,
into it. He's
that,
really into it, man, and he pays attention. I posted the same cigar. I was out here in the backyard and I was just messing around one day and I made a little video and I posted and he came straight in the inbox. Man, that is amazing. I mean, he pop, 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 he put about 5 sentences in the
I love
message. You know how much he liked it.
because it's actually him.
Yeah,
He actually responds.
yeah,
It's not some. It's
that's
him.
right.
So it's like, oh my God, he actually saw me because he gets thousands and thousands of stuff, and
Yeah,
he actually sees it, and he responds to you, like
yeah.
Reggie and Steve with Loyal to Ash. When Reggie first saw me, I won a bottle of whiskey from him,
Hmm.
and I tell you, skies was the limit there. Let me tell you, a lot of women started hating Reggie after that because they were like, Reggie, I smoke with you all the time. Why you get peaches to do this and that?
Hey, do you experience that a lot in Atlanta? Because you know, in Atlanta, y'all have more women that smoke than there is probably people on the damn East Coast. I mean, y'all, man, they whenever you see posts, even when I see Atlanta Cigar Week or like Cigar Chicks,
Hmm.
you know, some of the ladies out there that I know that smoke, man, they'll have an event like Octavia does the She Smokes Two thing,
Hmm.
and you have all of these women that smoke, and even the ones with the ancillary businesses like the Fedora Designs and all of these different people that man they smoke for real out there in the
For
ATL.
real.
They don't do it like that here in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, we smoke for real, for real. One of my girls used to work at a lounge. She doesn't work there anymore. It's so funny. We used to argue all the time. She'll be working, and I'll be in there talking to her, and a guy will walk in and get a cigar, and he'll go right for that damn hypnotic or Tatiana, and I'm like, no, 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 brother, no, no, no. I said, come here, let me talk to you. And she's trying to get to me, but she has to ring up customers, so she's looking at me like this. Her name's Shannon, love her
Uh,
to death.
uh,
And I'm like, bruh, if it's by the front door, they don't care if you steal it. So we ain't gonna worry about those. Nothing against the cigars. All cigarettes great. All fine. I'm like, but baby, I said, I'm gonna be a little vulgar for a minute. I said,
uh-huh.
good, smell good, pussy rating right here, baby. I'm like, women look like, damn, okay. You grab that Tatiana, and you go out there amongst us. First, we're gonna smell it, and we're gonna be like, who is that? And when we see you, you just went from here, man. You flatlining like,
you
yeah,
in there. You in
I'm
there.
Denzel Washington. You come out there, hey baby, like, no, 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 no. So the guy started laughing at me. He was like, well, what do you recommend? I said, well, another question, no disrespect. Do you smoke weed? And he was like, well, sometimes. I was like, okay, so you already used to smoking a little bit. So what are you drinking? Oh, I like a little Amarada. Okay, you already drinking sweet, brother. Okay, let me put you on this Perdomo 10-year champagne. Okay, great introduction to a mild cigar. Bring
Hmm.
you in. Your pussy rate gonna stay right here. Okay, it's gonna stay right here. Now we're gonna talk to you. It's a good conversation. Now you're gonna get women to communicate with you. He was like, damn, okay. Next thing I know, I turned around. She's like, "Get out my humidor right now! Just get out my humidor. I don't want you in here. You talking people all this stuff." I said, "Girl, I done upsold you a cigar, and now
You
I
done
got
went
this
from a $6 Tatiana to a $13 Perdomo champagne,
exact."
10th anniversary.
And
Come
then
on now.
brother popping his collar when he walk out there because he know all the women gonna be looking at him good. And at the end of that night, he said, "Sis, thank you." I was like, "No problem." I said, "This is what we're here for. We're supposed to." Most people will talk about you. I'm not going to talk about you. I'm going to walk up to you and ask you why you're smoking that. Number one, are you new? Are you smoking that because your friend's smoking it? Like, why? Like, we're going to have a conversation. And he was like, okay. I was like, and once we get past that, I'm going to make you feel relaxed. Next thing you know, you're going to be walking in talking about bitch ass. I'm going to be like, oh, hey, hey, boo.
But see, hey, you know what though, Peaches? A lot of people don't understand that that's what this culture is all about.
Exactly.
See, you got to be open. You got to be open to receive as much as you give, you know. And
Exactly.
I tell you something, I think it's something real cool about a woman. They can walk into a lounge and ain't afraid to tell a man, you know, hey man, look, you can't win like this. If you want to win, you got to up your game
Yep.
tonight. You can't
Right.
come in here smoking acids and Tatianas and you can't do that. You got to get something in your hand. And, and
Hey,
and look, a man that can smoke a Connecticut and make it look good, they always
that's
can win. They
yes.
always win if you smoke at the Connecticut, because most
Oh,
brothers gonna run in there. They gonna think to themselves, the one that know a little something, man, give me a 6x60 Maduro. What you got? And then they over there smoking and they almost dying. Over there almost dying, trying to
right.
keep it. Yeah, I got a little asthma, you know. But they can go get them a Connecticut, and a lot of people don't realize it's some Connecticut's that'll put you on your ass faster than a Maduro.
It is.
Yeah,
It is. I mean, don't get a Connecticut food. I mean,
yeah, I done smoked some Connecticut's, man. We got a lounge here in Dallas called El Jefe Cigar Lounge, and
love
he's
it.
man. So
Love
you
it.
been to El Jefe? Have you
Yes.
been there?
I went there when Rockstar had his Rocktoberfest.
Yeah,
I went.
yeah, yeah,
Love the spot. Absolutely
yeah.
great. Great guy.
That is my spot. Tony's my cousin. He's my
Dope.
cousin,
Wow.
and so I go down there and smoke a lot. Like I be coming through there and I stop by there. I be like, cuz and I always buy. I buy cigars. So I go in there, man. I'm gonna get the 10 for 100,
Right.
or whatever, or 5 for 100. I
Right.
get my cigars, and I be like, and Cloud Brothers is on his sins on here. He can tell you, because we've smoked over there together before. Man,
Yes.
you go in there, you get a cigar. He's got this one. It's Connecticut. It's called the Cinco País.
Mm,
That's my
mm,
favorite cigar.
mm,
My
mm.
favorite cigar there. Let me tell you, that cigar will put you on your ass. And it is not a overwhelmingly strong cigar.
Right.
It's got a lot of flavors, man. Lots of
Right.
flavors. But let me tell you something. Will put you on your
Look.
ass. You think you smoking good by the time you got to that last third, and you just sat in there and drank a little Angel's Envy or something in there? Man, you don't even know. I'm about to call you an Uber. I'm about to call you an we might have to get you an Uber, man, or Tony might have to make you some espresso to bring you down a little
Yes.
bit. But the one thing about that lounge, and I see seeing saying how dope it is, I don't know if you experienced it. I'm sure you did. When you in there, he ain't got one piece of furniture that match. He ain't got two glasses that match two more glasses. And the music is always gonna be the dopest vibe you have ever heard.
Always.
And you can ask him, Peaches. I will come in there, because I do my cigar track of the day, and he and I, like, we go back and forth constantly, even on the phone. And he'll have some stuff, and I'm sitting there just shazamming the whole time I'm in there. I got my
Yeah.
phone on the table, and I'm just hitting that Shazam button every time I
Yeah.
hear something that I ain't never heard. It is the perfect place to sit down, smoke a cigar, and
There.
experience the Chevalier lifestyle. I say it all the time when we smoke
Yeah.
good things. Occasionally savor when we in there. We go across the street and get a burger and savor the flavors of the burger with our cigar.
You
But
know who else? I love Edwina's spot.
hey, blowing smoke.
You know, now that's one woman that I met and I was starstruck. Okay, number one, she played ball.
She played the WNBA. You know what though? She does not like for you to talk about that.
Man, okay, so I went there because of Rocktoberfest.
Huh?
And when I first saw, okay, she's this tall, beautiful woman, right? So I'm like, oh my God. And she's so humble, so knowledgeable. She was talking to me about the cigars in the lounge and about her lounge. And she's so smooth,
Oh, she
like
real
she's so
smooth now. You
smart.
gotta watch her.
Yeah, you
She's
got to watch
silky.
it.
She's
She's
silky, boy. You
boy,
better
I
spend
was just like,
$300 up in there real fast.
and I was just like, yo, she is dope. And I actually started Oktoberfest. That's been what, like 3 years ago?
Yeah, the last one was
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, I
The
didn't go to
last one was
the
2 years
second
ago.
one. I went to the
Mhm.
first one. And so I was still roughly new, really coming into the cigar industry. So she was somebody, along with many other people, like my girl Christine from Lipsticks and Fingertips, like Kia from Conscious
Conscious.
Cigars. It's women like that I sit back and I watch them. And these are real smokers. It's not just taking no pictures looking cute. These
Oh
are
yeah.
real
Oh
smokers.
yeah.
So and they're so cool about it. You can go and sit down and talk to them. They don't make you feel a certain kind of way. And I was like, yo, I got to step my game up because I got to be like her when I
Man,
grow up.
whatever, dog. Whatever, dog. Let me tell you something. You rank right with them. And Dallas Smoke Fest. Dallas Smoke Fest. I met Kia. I met Kia
Yes.
at Dallas Smoke Fest at the All Black Party, right? I was ambassador for Dallas Smoke Fest last year, right? And so I walked up to Kia starstruck. I met Nicole for the first time, even though I'd known her for a couple years through social media.
Yeah.
Dallas Smoke Fest. I met her, and we've been like this ever since. I pulled up on her birthday. Her and Sin and all them was sitting at Kunoma, and I
Right.
just happened to come in there because me and Rockstar did this thing where we sponsored two boys for the prom this year. At the end of the
Okay.
school year, we did this. Two Marine veterans. We sponsored two boys that were going into the Marine Corps. Two
Oh,
Hispanic boys, right?
wow.
So we bought them suits. We head to toe suits,
Wow.
watches, shoes, whole nine. And then we took them out to eat. And then me and Rockstar pulled up over to Sonoma. So I
I
walk
love
into
that spot
Sonoma.
too.
Man, Tommy is amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, he the man. That is Mr. Cigars and Spirits right there. He is
Ooh.
I call him the light skinned Billy Davis Jr. He is
He's so
like
smooth
he's
too.
smooth as silk. And I pulled up in there and seeing and Nicole was sitting at when I walked in, they had their back to me at the counter. I
Yeah.
walked in down, looked around there, I looked at Nicole, I was like, you told me you was coming down here, didn't you? I didn't even know you was coming down, so I forgot. She said, I thought you was pulling up on me for my birthday. I said, girl, my old butt forgot all about it. My old butt forgot all about it. But I'm here now. Let's take a picture. And
Nicole is so dope.
man,
I
she
mean, Nicole is
is
so dope.
and
I
she is
met her
all
just
about the
online,
community. She's
all
all
about
about the culture.
and about uplifting women.
Yes.
She's one of the few women that's in the industry that really supports you. She always uplifts you. She doesn't care what brand she has. She's going to support your brand. She's going to talk about it. And that's what it should all be about.
Yeah.
It, this world is big enough for all of us to make money. But the way I always look at, do you. Don't copy nobody. It could be
Yep.
a million t-shirt brands out here, but have your own brand. Don't copy off of somebody else. Let us all live in our lane and be great in what we do. You know,
That's real talk.
people used to put me and cigar porn against each other. And I said, no, 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 no. Those are my boys. You
Yeah.
know? They opened my eyes because of me always buying their stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was the first year everybody in cigar porn in different states were fighting over me. They wanted me to be their ambassador because
Wow.
my pictures were so dope. Like I was taking pictures with their stuff. They was like, "Yo, people buying stuff because of this, because you did that." And my boy Don in Atlanta that does it in Atlanta, he was like, "Nah, Peach is mine." I said, "Well, hold on, wait a minute now. I ain't nobody's." But
You
it's
know what
so
I found to be interesting about them? Mario did a cigar weekend here last year, and he did it at Allure. He
okay.
had it at Allure Cigar Lounge, and I went. I never met Mario, and I met him that night, right? And that's the night I met Christina Morgan. I walked up to
Mm,
her. I said, "Oh my God, you're Christina Morgan." And every time I see her now, when I walk up to her, I'll be like, "Hey, Christina Morgan, how you doing?" But I went in there that night, and that's when I started meeting all these dope ass people.
yeah,
That's when
yeah.
I met. I already knew Cherie Jones. Me and Cherie have been cool since I got in. When I first put my shirts out, she did a photo shoot. She told me, "Send me some shirts. Yeah, I like these shirts. Send me some shirts." And so
Right.
I sent her some, and she did it. She even had a fedora made to match one of the shirts
Wow.
I sent her, which I really appreciated that. But one of the things I find though, I try to push my stuff, but I love wearing everybody else's. And me and in Cigar Porn, we traded shirts. One of the guys from Cigar Porn was there, and I sure did meet you there, Nicole. That's right. And we traded shirts, man. And let me tell you something. I wear that shirt every now and then. I wear it like a special shirt.
Hmm.
I wear like very rarely. Like some shirts, people send me stuff and I just put it on with some jeans. But the only time I put that cigar porn shirt on is when I'm about to get on my outer patio back here
Yeah,
and I'm about to take some pictures.
yeah.
It's something about the whole thing. And then I admire them as a brand because when I went to PCA last year in Vegas, um, they put out their cigar with Rocky Patel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they had a small little setup, but they wasn't playing around. We don't have to have they had this whole thing like we ain't gotta have a big setup. They were right next to Fuente.
Yeah.
They had their table, they had a little pop table and their deal, and they had their stuff out there, but they announced the cigar. And the cigar is amazing. I've had that cigar. That is an amazing stick.
Yeah.
And it's something about the way they do things that I really like that's inspired me the same way you've inspired me the same way Christine Morgan inspired me. One of the biggest things that I did at Dallas Smoke Fest, I got a chance to meet the Conscious Crew. I got a chance to meet them, and I was like really excited. And then when I saw Kevin at PCA
That's
this
a
year, we got a chance to
guy.
really talk.
Yeah.
That's just a dope dude. And
Yeah.
you can't get Conscious cigars here everywhere.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think I went to he gave me some at PCA this year, and I want to say that I bought one at LG's up in Allen, Texas, which is about 30, 40 miles north of Dallas and
Okay.
stuff. But you can't find them everywhere here. Like Aduina doesn't have them. A lot of the lounges that I go to right in Dallas doesn't have them. But every cigar that I've smoked from them, every time I've smoked a cigar, I've had the most pleasurable experience.
Oh,
You know, but I say that to say this: we got some dope people in this
yeah.
industry, and you're definitely one of them.
Thank
And to hear, I was gonna ask you, who are the people that you look up to, and you named everybody that I thought you would have, like Adwina, who is Adwina is one of my best friends, on
you.
this
Yeah.
earth. I love that woman,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's one of my best friends. We chill outside of the cigar industry. And there's others like Kia McLean, the poet, who has her books. And there's just so many different ones that I'm close with, that I have relationships outside. And then like the Christine Morgan. Anytime
Yeah.
I see Christine Morgan, I just get scared. Same way I did with you. I've been wanting her to come on conversation. She'll be like, hit me up. And I just be scared to hit her up. I'd be like, I don't want to bother. That's how I feel. Like, I don't want to bother.
She's like, I don't want to
Because
bother.
like, cause she be doing things. She told me one time, I don't know if she was talking shit or what, but I told her when she came down for Dallas Smoke Fest, why you didn't bring the big mobile thing? She was like, man, it cost $3,500 to start that bad fella up and put it in drive.
Yeah.
And for me,
Yeah.
it wasn't her bragging. It was her, for me, the lesson I got in that, I value what I do. And
Right.
in order for you to get the excellence that comes along
Yeah.
with my brand, you got to
Yeah.
pay for
That's
it.
right.
And Mike taught me that lesson. Mike told me after the show, one of the things that I take from Mike that he told me, hey brother, you undervalue yourself. It's time for you to assign some value to yourself because people want to know you. And he said this, he said, you have to be careful because people will use you up because you're a
Ooh,
nice guy.
that's
They
right.
will use you up.
That's
They'll
right.
use you up. He said, so you can't be afraid to tell them what it costs to,
Yeah.
to, to experience Chevalier. And if they don't want to pay the cost, you're not supposed to feel bad. You should tell them there's somebody else right down the street
That's
here.
right.
They'll do it for less. But if you want Chevalier, you got to pay me for what I do.
That-
And I took that. I took that. And believe me, it's happening now. All
Oh, yeah.
because of Mike putting a word in my ear. And that's what I respect and appreciate about you, about him, and so many others in y'all circle. You guys are not afraid to share the love. You're not afraid to drop a nugget. You're not afraid to put grace or bestow grace upon people to help them be the best versions of themselves. And
Definitely.
that's why I had to have you on Conversations with Chevalier.
Thank you.
So before we
Yep.
go, tell me one thing that you want everybody to know about Chitown people.
Um, I'm just a regular round the way chick. You know, I'm always going to greet you with a smile. I'm always going to be pleasant with you. I will always sit down and talk with you. Um, don't be like Chevalier thinking, oh, I can't talk to Peaches. That's
Because
not
that's exactly what
that's
the hell
me. I,
I
I'm humble as I don't know what. But um, one thing that you should know about me is I'm a hard worker, and I'm very driven. And when people believe in me, they help me push further and further, which is going to make me more dangerous. Because when James of Cigar Porn told me, Peaches, you only in Atlanta. I got people everywhere, and I see your stuff everywhere. Like I have people, like you have people in every state.
You
He
sure
said, "You
do.
doing your thing, girl." Like that was everything to me, And I was just like, I'm on something. I'm doing something. And he was like, keep on pushing. People gonna, people gonna try to discourage you, but don't let that get you. Just keep on pushing. So it's like people like him, Don with Cigar Point in Atlanta, people like Cigar Mike, people like yourself. That when I think that I'm not doing enough, you remind me, like Nicole, you're really dope, and it helps uplift me.
Thank
It
you.
makes me be like, don't be so down on yourself. I'm an everyday person like all y'all. I cry. I have bad days. I have good days. But more importantly, if you're sincere and authentic, you'll be a friend with me for life.
But I feel like I've gained a friend today. I
Definitely.
want to tell you how special this show was to me tonight. So I talked to you about 4 o'clock this afternoon, probably 5 your time. I was picking up a club sandwich from the little. I told you I was on my way home. I stopped to pick me up a club sandwich, and
Right.
so I got home, came out here on the patio, I flipped the TV on, and actually it was on. My wife was out here watching Judge Judy, as she does, because she worked from home. So when the rest of us out there struggling, she making all the money sitting out here watching the damn Judge Judy.
Right.
And I want you to know how special this show was. I couldn't cancel it, which I needed to cancel it tonight, and I didn't. So I I got a call from Gary, from my cousin, and she said, "Hey, cuz, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting here on the couch eating my club sandwich. What's up?" She had called me 2 or 3 times throughout the day. I was sitting in my office. I was too busy, and I work for General Motors. I'm all over the place.
Right.
And so she said, "Hey, man, you probably don't know this." She said, "But I have a younger sister. My dad had a love child, when I was a teenager, and she just turned 40 years old last month.
Okay.
And she called me and she said, 'Hey, your sister passed away yesterday.'"
Oh.
And so I was the only person in my family that really dealt with her because she was my dad's, side baby.
Right.
But she had struggled and been through some things, and it's just something in me that that's not my business.
Yeah.
My thing was that no matter what, she's still my sister,
Right.
and I got to look out for her. And
Yeah.
over the last couple of years, she had a heart transplant at like 35, and
Oh.
then she pacemaker. And so I was talking to her last week. She's in the hospital. She's in and out of the hospital, right? And then my cousin calls me and said, "Hey, man, I don't think you know this, but your sister passed away
Mm.
Saturday."
I'm so
And
sorry.
let me tell you something, Peaches. I was fucked up
I
when
know.
I got ready to do the show tonight, and I couldn't get myself together. And I got to tell you, had this probably been anybody else, I probably would have canceled the show. Um,
Mm.
but there's something about you, and I don't say this to be funny. There's something about you that I felt like I wanted to talk to you. And I waited so long, and I felt like there were so many people that need to know who Chitown Peaches really is. And
Right.
so the reason I do conversations with Chevalier is just for that. And and I needed this because even now, as we've been doing this show, all I've been thinking about is my little sister, and
Definitely.
she died alone. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I have been fucked up, like all evening. And so I want to thank you for getting my mind off of it tonight, because it's really been something for me, and to feel like I felt like, and I've been kind of numb for the last couple of hours. I felt
Yeah.
like shit. I didn't call her back the other day. I talked to her Thursday, and she passed away on Saturday, but she had left me a message on Friday. Bro, call me, and I knew she had been in the hospital, and I thought she got out. And then they called me today and told me that she passed away.
Yeah.
And she had been telling me, "Hey, bro, you got to come see me because I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be here." But she been saying that to me for 10 years. I'd be like,
Right.
"Nigga." You're gonna be here. And so I say all that to say this. You know, we have to start learning how to live our life for today and not for
Yeah,
tomorrow because I'm gonna always have this regret that I
def-
didn't call my sister back. For no reason other than I get busy sometimes. But we
yeah,
can't let the things that we doing, you know, allow us to forget those that are important in our lives. So
man.
tonight's show is dedicated to my little sister Naive. And since I love you, I'm gonna miss you. And
Yeah.
and that's all I got. So I tell you what, this has been Conversations with Chevalier, and man, it has been such an honor to have you on my show. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough
I,
for doing the show with me
I
tonight.
thank you for allowing me to be the person that you spent this time with. That I
Yeah,
was able to give you something that you were able to share it with, that you feel comfortable with me. You, that's what we were talking about. You
yeah,
have to find your circle, people that you're comfortable with, people that you can be vulnerable with. And I thank you for taking this time and sharing that with me and everyone that's on here. And I'm a phone call away. I got you.
yeah.
Anything
I
you may need.
appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. My wife has been like, man, you got to cancel the show. My mom called. She's like, you gonna cancel your show tonight? No, no. I think I'm gonna do the show because if I don't, I'm just gonna sit here and not do nothing but drink and smoke cigars anyway. So I might as well have a great conversation and be on here with some people that I really care about that inspire me to be the best version of myself. And, between you, between Mike, Ray True Life, everybody that's been on this show tonight, I just appreciate you all for supporting Conversations with Chevalier. I talk to the people that I want to talk to because those are the people that inspire me. And it's all about the journey. It's all about learning what drives us and keeps us
Def,
going, which makes us be our best people. And you've
def,
delivered that tonight, and it's been an honor. Now, I mentioned to you earlier, I wanted you to come on the lounge with me and Rachel Live Thursday night. If
yeah.
you and Mike are available, we do that at 7 p.m. Central every Thursday night. It's Men's Mental Health Month. For those of y'all that have never watched our show, it's called The Lounge Show. Man, we got a pretty dope show. And we do commercials. We got a thing we do called The Vibe. Halfway through the show, I play some music that kind of hits the topic. I never know what I'm going to play, just depending on what we're talking about. But
Def,
we do that and we smoke and we have authentic, true conversations over cigars because that's what we believe is needed in the community. And so I invite you all to join us Thursday night. Go on Instagram, follow me, follow Chitown Peaches, and follow the Lounge Show on Instagram. We'll post a link, and we would be honored to have you and Mike in there with us. And
def.
I just thank you, sis. Much love to
Thank
you.
no,
Much
thank you.
love to Mike. And much love to all of y'all. This has been Conversations with Chevalier,
Oh,
where we smoke,
I
sing, and savor. What?
won. I gotta say who won the new product coming out.
Oh, shit. We almost forgot about that. Who won? Who won?
So the winner is
Oh, let me turn
Bruno
this.
Lyons.
Yay! Because he wins everything. Yeah.
Bruno Lyons. I am going. Look, I'm going to send you a message. You send me a message first. Send me your information. When the product gets in, I'm going to send it to you. I'm sorry, Rach.
Hey, and you know what? Before we go, let me say one more thing. So if you guys see Rose City Cigar and Soul in the comments, I am an ambassador for Rose City Cigar and Soul Festival in
Okay.
Portland, Oregon, July 10th through the 13th. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I want y'all to come to Portland. I think this is gonna be fire. We got everybody. We've got everybody from LLC Cigars, got Friend Cigars is gonna be out there. I'm gonna be there. Man, there's gonna be a lot of people there. Love for you guys to come out, support Rose City Cigar and Soul Festival. If you see, I've been putting them in my post a lot because a lot
Yeah.
of times, since it's a Soul Festival, you know, I like the cigar track of the day. I think about music I'm gonna groove to at the Soul Festival,
Right.
so that's what I play. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, go check it out. Rose City Cigar and Soul Festival, and
Send
follow
me that
them on
information
Instagram.
if I can come. See if they need some vendors.
She in here Hey, Erica. Make sure you reach out to Chitown Peaches. Y'all connect. Go and follow her. Her name is Erica Warren. Warren. She's an amazing lady. Very classy. Very
Yes.
classy. Very classy. So hey, reach out to her and man, it'd be nice for us to be out there. My wife's gonna be there, and so definitely, I'd love to see y'all there because we partying, we
Yes.
partying, and like I
Oh,
said, this show is dedicated to my little sis. I
we
love you,
love
sis.
you.
I'm gonna miss you.
Yes.
Oh,
We love you.
and
Don't worry. She looking at you right now, smiling. She's so proud of you.
talking shit. That my big bro. That's my big bro. Y'all big bro ain't dope as my big bro. That's what she tell
Yes.
everybody out there.
And guess what?
But
She ain't in no pain no more.
what Ray say? Before y'all go, who hired? Ray need he got a job, but I guess he want another job. So y'all hook it up. Check out the Only Experience. The Onyx Experience is what it is. I always say only. The Onyx Experience is
Okay.
Erica Warren's page, and then you got Rose City Cigar and Soul Festival. So y'all check that out. And hey, stay tuned for another episode of Conversations with Chevalier coming up. I think on the 23rd we'll have Erica Warren from
Yeah.
Rose City. She's going to be on the show. She'll be my guest. Hopefully, she'll bring a couple of ambassadors. We'll talk about the show, but we're going to also talk about her
Yeah.
journey and how she got into it.
Love
That's going to be on June 23rd, that Monday at 7 p.m. Central. So, like I said, this has been Conversations with Chevalier, sponsored by the Rose City Cigar and Soul Festival.
it.
Y'all take care. Have a good night. Sis, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Be blessed.
Mwah.
Yes.
Much love. All right, good night, everybody.